Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of the No Fluff Small Business Simplified podcast. I am Sam DiNicola, and somehow we are in the last week of 2020, this dumpster fire of a year, right? And whether you had a great 2020 and you really used everything that happened this year to your advantage, you made the best of it. Maybe you launched a new business or you pivoted your business or scaled your business. Or if this year was just a total shitstorm and not what you were expecting at all, right? That's okay. That's not a big deal. We can set that aside. We don't have to assign any weight to that. We don't have to judge ourselves on did we accomplish what we wanted to this year, yes or no, right? It's seeing what happened, what did we do, how did we react to that, and then how can we use that as a learning experience to improve the next time something like that happens, to improve our reaction the next time something unexpected or not so great happens to us, right? And I think that is the biggest lesson that we can take from this year. It's nothing is your fault. It's all about how you react to things and what you can make of situations, right? That's not saying nothing is ever your fault, right? We do things, we mess up, right? But it's just, okay, that's fine. That happened. Now we're moving on. And how can we really productively move on from this? So definitely, if you're feeling some sort of way about the end of this year, keep that in mind for yourself, right? Just really don't forget that. And one thing that I really wanted to kind of talk about today is a few things that you can do and a few tools that you can use to really set yourself up for success for next year. So if you started a new business this year, if you pivoted your business, if you're growing your business, all amazing. These are all strategies and tools that can help you to continue to make the best of your business and to continue to grow and scale your business and allow you to build a business that really makes you feel supported. And that's something that I talk about all the time with my clients and online. It doesn't matter how successful your business is if you don't feel supported by that business. If you're waking up every morning like, ugh, okay, I have to work. If your business is making you feel super stressed out or making you feel really anxious, we're not saying that it's all flowers and freaking sunshine all the time, right? But if you are consistently feeling anxious and stressed out by your business, you have a job. You're not a business owner and you're not feeling supported by your business. And that is going to lead you to burnout and overwhelm. And it's going to lead you to this place of, I don't like my business anymore, but what do I do? And a lot of people feel guilt around burning a successful business to the ground, right? But that's because just because it's a successful business doesn't mean you're feeling supported as a business owner. And that's a really tough place to get into because then you're feeling like, again, how do I can't burn it to the ground, but what do? I don't feel happy, right? That's never what we want from our businesses. You might as well go get a job, right? Go get a 9-to-5 that you can step away from, that you don't need to have that responsibility in. And so if you're really looking in 2021 to build a business that makes you feel super, super supportive, these are some strategies and some tools that are going to help you to get there, right? So the first one I want to really talk about is task and project management. If you are still using paper lists to keep track of your tasks, if you are using Post-it notes, if you are just kind of not being super intentional with how you track your tasks, this is something to start doing immediately. And I don't want to hear all this crap about, oh, I tried this one and I didn't like it. It doesn't work. Oh, I'm really a paper girl. I just really like to write things down, right? That's fine. Just because you start using a task management system doesn't mean you can never write anything down again, right? Like your freaking hand isn't broken. You can still write things down. But it is so, so important to use a task management tool that is online for your business and get in the habit of doing that now, because paper lists are not sustainable when you start to grow your business. They're not going to be you're not going to be able to keep track of everything you need to be doing for clients, right? You're not going to be able to keep track of everything that you need to do on the back end of your business to continue growing and improving. And you're going to definitely not be able to effectively communicate with your team priorities and what needs to get done and deadlines, right? Keeping everything analog on paper is going to lead you to have things slipping through the cracks, and there's going to be issues, right? So you need to get on a task and project management system. Anyone, I don't really care what it is, right? I have my preference, and that's ClickUp. If you've been like around here for a while, you know that I use and love ClickUp. And I have a couple of blog posts about how you can use ClickUp to effectively, run your business. And I have a whole course about using ClickUp for entrepreneurs, but I don't care what it is. Just use one, right? It might be Asana. Trello is another one that a lot of people like. There's Monday. There's so many of them out there. Just start using one. Just getting into that habit of, oh, this thing just popped into my head. Now it needs to go into the task management system is so key, because just that transition is going to make sure nothing slips through the cracks. It's going to also allow you to stop having that running film in your brain of like, oh, I got to do this, and then I got to do this, and then I got to do this. If you're waking up in the morning, just running through the list of all things you need to do that day while you're still in bed, or if you're trying to go to sleep at night and that list is running through your head, a task management system is really gonna help you keep that to a minimum, because you can trust that you have gotten everything in there. When something pops into your head, when an email comes through, it's getting into that ClickUp or that task management system. And so you don't have to have that running list going in your brain anymore. And that's immediately going to free up some brain space and energy just for you, right? So there is no excuse anymore to not be using a task management system. I still use some lists, right? Like I'm recording this right now. I have some notes that I jotted down, right? I have some points that I want to hit on. That's fine. Again, it's not like you're never going to be able to write anything down again, but a task management system serves as a central place for you to keep all of the information in your business, for you to keep the tasks you need to get done. What are the priorities of those items? If you have a team, what team member is, responsible for those things? When you start to have a team where multiple team members are collaborating with each other, this becomes super important, because at any given moment, anybody can pop in and see, okay, what's the status of this task? When do we need to get it done? Are there any red flags here? And that's what gets so important, because then if you need to go on vacation, guess what? Your team has all of that information right there for you, right? Oh, we need to follow up with this person. We need to follow up with that person, right? If one person on your team leaves, that's okay, because all of that stuff, all of the tasks they were responsible for are living in that task management system. It makes everything so much easier. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Start using a task management system immediately. The next thing I want to touch on is, you guys know I'm so big on systems and processes and workflows. It is what is going to allow you to continue to grow and scale your business without even having to hire a team or even having to hire a huge team, right? So if you're a solopreneur, do not ignore workflows and systems and processes. You should be recording everything, how everything is done, so that when you do hire a team, if you do ever hire a team, everything is documented for them right there, and they can do their own onboarding and their own training. When we have to bring someone new onto the team, it takes all of 30 minutes of my time to just touch base with them once they've reviewed all of the onboarding stuff and once they've reviewed all of the SOPs for all of their tasks. And it takes about 30 minutes for me to just check in with them, make sure they're good to go, and I really focus more on, culture and things like that, more than the tactical, how do you do this? How do you do that? Because that stuff is already recorded and it's already there for them at their fingertips whenever they need it. So systems and processes and workflows are going to be so important. The other thing is if you're thinking about, do I want to start hiring and building a team this year, right? I really encourage you to take a look at what you're doing. So take a look at your new beautiful task management system that has all the things that you need to do every day, every week, and every month in there, and review what of these things that I'm doing consistently can be automated, systematized, or have a process set up around it, okay? That is gonna be so key for you because a lot of people outsource for things and activities that can actually be automated. And by automating something, a lot of times that's going to be cheaper for you and you're gonna feel like you're seeing better results because you don't have to go out and find someone. You don't have to interview people. You don't have to hire them. You don't have to be checking on them, right? It just happens. It's automation. So one of my favorite automation pieces that we have in our business is Dipsado, right? Dipsado basically acts as a CRM, customer relationship manager, and it allows us to set up these great workflows. So if we have someone come to the website and they want to book a digital strategy intensive with me, right? They go to the website, fill out the form on the website. Dubsado immediately sends them the invoice to pay. As soon as they pay their invoice, they immediately get sent a questionnaire to fill out, right? That's going to give me all the information that I need in order to effectively support them during the digital strategy intensive. As soon as that questionnaire is filled out, they get their link to schedule their call, right? That link is connected to my calendar. So it sees where I have availability and they can choose from my availability. And then they get on my calendar. And then I'm able to review their form. I get an automated email that says, oh, hey, they've completed the form. Here you go. Here's the link. So now I have booked a digital strategy intensive. The call is booked. I have all the information I need from them ahead of time. And I didn't do shit. I didn't do anything, right? We had this happen a couple of times while I was on vacation, and it was the most amazing thing to see because it was so simple and it didn't require any work from me or from my team, right? And that is an example of automation that can really save you a lot of time in your business. So we're not manually creating those invoices. We're not manually sending those questionnaires. Feedback questionnaires you can do this with as well, right? It automatically sends them a feedback questionnaire after our call, okay? That all of that is saving. I don't have to pay my team to be doing those things because we now have a tool that does that for us. So if you are looking for something like that for this year, I definitely recommend looking into Dubsado. There's a couple of other tools available as well, but I use Dubsado and I really love it. And I have links to all of these things on the resources page on my website. If you are looking into them, I have some more information about them on my website. But another thing that you can really be automating is your scheduling, right? So we use Acuity for that. There is a scheduler available in Dubsado, but it's still in beta. So we use Acuity and it's fantastic, right? So that link to Acuity, Dubsado sends out that email with that link to Acuity and they book using Acuity, right? So if I have a client who needs to get on a client call, they have a link that they can use to book time with me, and it's a certain amount of time. It automatically sets, oh, I want a 15-minute buffer before and after every meeting so that I'm not running over on my meeting times. It sends them, if necessary, a questionnaire before. So like if I have somebody who's booking a ad management discovery call to work with us to do, digital ads, they get sent a questionnaire ahead of time that they fill that questionnaire out via Acuity after they've booked their call so that I have all the information I need to really be able to speak to, a strategy that's going to work best for them, right? That's another example of automation. When it comes to systems and processes, that is like we use Google Drive, right? And we have templates for so many things. So you guys heard me talk about in the episode about using Facebook groups for organic lead generation, right? And I talked in that podcast episode, that was episode 3 or 4, I think. And if you haven't listened to that yet, definitely go check that out. But I talk about how we have templates for everything that we're doing with Facebook groups, how we're responding, what Facebook groups are we in with links, what keywords are we searching for in those Facebook groups. That all lives in documents in Google Drive so that nobody has to remember those things or search through Facebook for them. They're all documented right there. And this is one thing that I think a lot of solopreneurs, people who don't think they want to build a team or haven't built a team yet, they ignore doing those things. And so, because it all lives in your brain, right? But just the fact of you trying, especially if it's something you're not doing every single day, right? You're trying to remember, okay, now I need to do this. Now I need to do this. Now I need to do this. That is taking up brain space for you, right? And what happens if you kind of forget a step? Now it's taking you longer because you have to go back and do that step, right? So because we have it documented and we have templates wherever possible for things that we don't automate, it means that I don't have to remember those things. It's right there for me. So even if it's things that I developed those processes, I still pull up the template or the document to make sure that I'm not missing any steps, because now I don't have to remember those things, right? But also it's right there. So when we hire someone to do those things, when we outsource those things, it's all right there for them. It doesn't require me walking them through how to do all these things. It's right there, right? And that's what's so important when you're trying to grow and scale your business. A lot of people get into a place where they know they need to outsource because they need help. They don't have enough time to do everything that they need to be doing themselves, but they don't have time to go and look for someone and then train that person. They don't have time to train that person. So they get caught in this like vicious cycle, and they don't know how to get off the freaking merry-go-round, right? And so being super conscious about that and just documenting things as you go is really setting you up for success. Because guess what? You might have time right now, right? You might have time to be doing all those things. But as you start to get more clients or as you start to get more sales, your time is going to be taken up by those new things. And so even if you're not looking to outsource, you're still going to have less time and less brain space to do all the things that you're doing right now. And so it's still, even if you're not going to hire a team, it's still going to really help you in the future. And this is so, so key. And I think this is something that really allowed us to scale the agency as quickly and as kind of seamlessly as we did, because we did already have a lot of systems and processes set up, so that when I was ready to start hiring a team, I was able to do that super, super quickly and pretty easily, right? So the other thing that I really want to talk about that you really need to be doing next year is tracking your time. Say it with me. We are tracking our time. If you're not tracking your time, you're fooling yourself, because it is impossible to figure out how long something is going to take you if you haven't tracked it, right? A perfect example of this is like if you're doing like a project, around the house or whatever, and you're like, oh, okay, great. It'll just take me like 20 minutes. And then somehow it takes you an hour, right? Because you're not tracking your time. We always think something takes a certain amount of time, and it might take if it's something you don't want to do, you probably think it takes longer than it really does, right? And if it's something you might want to do or you don't care about doing, it might take longer, right? And that's where you might be seeing like, oh wow, the day really got away from me, right? Because this thing and this thing took me way longer than I was expecting. And that's where that comes from, right? How do you know how much time you're actually spending on your marketing each week? How do you know how much time you're actually spending on lead generation each week if you're not tracking your time? And this is something that I run into so much. People are like, oh, well, I spend so much time on social media. I spend so much time creating content, right? But once they start tracking their time, they're like, oh, I'm actually consuming content for a lot of time during the week, but I'm only spending 30 minutes a week creating content, right? And a lot of people don't want to do that because it's kind of holding a mirror up to yourself and being like, ooh, that's not really what I thought it was. I'm not working on that as much as I wanted, right? But this is so important because tracking your time is going to help you to make really strategic business decisions in the future. So if you're tracking how much time you're spending on clients, right? That's going to be able to show you, okay, I'm making X amount from this client, but they're taking up a lot of my time. And this client over here, Yes, I'm making less from them, but they are taking a fraction of my time and attention and energy on something. So that is a great way to figure out, ooh, do I need to fire that client? Or do I need to raise that client's prices, right? Super similarly, if you are shipping products, right? If you're packaging and shipping your products yourself and you really want to start outsourcing to a fulfillment center, you're going to be able to really show this is how much time I'm spending on tracking and fulfilling, right? This is actually that cost of outsourcing that to a fulfillment center. It's X cost, but it's going to save me Y amount of time, right? Versus just like, God, it feels like I'm spending so much time doing fulfillment, right? But we know that's bullshit, right? You don't really know how much time it takes if you're not tracking your time. This is also super helpful, again, if you're trying to look at what should I outsource? What do I need to outsource most? Because if you're tracking your time, you can look at what are the activities that I'm spending the bulk of my time on? And then from those, what can I automate and what can I outsource, right? Because those are going to make the biggest impacts in your business. And I see this all the time when people who aren't tracking their time hire a VA, first of all, for something they should have automated, right? Or they hire a VA for something to do something that they're spending a lot of time doing, but it's not a revenue generating activity. And then they get pissed after they've paid the VA for 3 to 5 months and they're not seeing increased revenue. But that's because they hired a VA to do things that they were doing, but it's not revenue generating activity. And so they didn't reallocate their time saved to now work on revenue generating activities. Obviously, then that's not going to increase your revenue, right? This is not rocket science, guys. But this is what is so important. And it's also going to give you really clear numbers to look at when you're thinking about, do I need to raise my prices? Do I need to fire that client? How many more clients? I spend on average X number of hours per client per month. So if you want to increase your revenue by $5,000 a month this year, right? You want to add $5,000 a month to your business, you can go in and say, okay, great. And I spend on average 10 hours a month per client. And so if I want to increase 5,000 and I'm charging my clients, we'll keep it easy, $1,000 a month. That means I need to get 5 more clients to get $5,000 more per month, right? And I'm spending on average 10 hours per month per client. That's 50 more hours per month. Oh crap, but I'm already working 30 hours a week, right? So that means if I'm increasing by 50 hours a month, now I have to work 45 hours, right? A week, or 42, whatever. Ooh, I don't want to work that much. That's not part of my why. That's not what I want for my business. That's not going to make me feel supported in my business. Well, guess what, honey? That means you either need to increase your prices, automate, outsource. Right there. So you just were able to really strategically make that business decision versus flying by the seat of your pants. And this is something that is that's what makes the biggest difference between business owners who feel not supported by their business. They feel like their business is a job. They feel like they're just running around like a crazy hamster in their business, versus business owners who are able to really strategically make business decisions that are going to support their overall goals for their business, right? And that is so important. So those are really the things that you need to do next year in order to build a successful business and grow your business, right? You need to start using a task management system. So important, whether it's ClickUp or something different, right? Use a task management system. Get started today. Most of them have a free plan also. So there's literally no excuse for you. You need to set up systems and processes and workflows and templates in your business, right? And so that's Dubsado, Acuity. Those are going to help you to automate, but that's also using templates, saving those templates in Google Drive, right? All of those things. And you need to start tracking your time. There's a bunch of time tracking tools. I use Toggle. It's free. It's amazing. I love it. It's super easy. But there's a bunch of other ones, right? Like there's no excuses not to do these things. And if you just get in the habit of using them, they will pay you back tenfold because you're gonna be able to make these really intentional business decisions, right? So that is really, those are the things, the key things that you need to do to be successful next year in your business. And this goes for people, if you're planning on starting your business, great. You can get started with these really great habits, right from the start. If you're looking to grow your business, fantastic. Start implementing these now. If you grew a lot in 2020, right? Guess what you need to do? Focus on the back end. Focus on the systems and processes, right? These will serve anyone no matter where you're at in your business. And it's so, so key. So that is what you really need. If you have any questions around any of these things, if you are, getting started using any of these tools and you have any questions, or want to fight with me and tell me why task management is dumb, any of you paper planner people, come at me, right? Come for me. I'm ready to fight you paper planner people. But you can find me on Instagram. I'm sam.dinicola. That's sam.dinicola. I would love to connect with you there. And let me know if you have any questions, right? That's what all of this is about. And I just want you to crush next year, right? Like you can build a successful business. Anybody can, but using these tools and these strategies are going to help you build a successful business that makes you feel supported. And that is the key to longevity in business, right? So I hope everybody has an amazing end of their year. Goodbye 2020, we're over you, get the hell out. We're ready for the next year, right? I'm so ready to say hello to a different year right now. So happy New Year's, everybody, and I will talk to you later.